I'm keeping it between the lines of talking basketball, then I can't worry about if a motherfucker go getting their feelings, dog.
The same man who helped Kendrick Perkins secure a huge bag might have also become his biggest headache. Hold up. One unexpected call from Stephen A. Smith flipped Perk's entire world upside down. But somewhere between loyalty and millions, something shifted. And when Perkins finally spoke out, ESPN was never the same again. This whole thing traces back to one call, the kind you never see coming, the kind that rewrites your future in seconds. You pick up like it's nothing, not knowing everything's about to change. And by the time you hang up, nothing's the same. This all went down during the 2021 NBA playoffs. Big pressure, crazy ratings, the brightest spotlight in basketball. And Perkins, NBA champ, Celtics name, rising ESPN voice, was stuck watching from the sidelines. Not because he lacked skill, not because fans didn't rock with him, but because of something way more frustrating: corporate red tape. He'd been with ESPN since 2019, pulling in about $2,500 per appearance. No guarantees, no stability, just a former player trying to prove he belonged. By his second year, when the playoffs came around, he had already used up all his allowed appearances. Just like that, the system shut him down. No more TV time, no more opportunities. Come back next season. But Stephen A., he wasn't going for that. He wanted Perkins on First Take for a full week during the playoffs. Not a quick segment, not a one-day cameo, a full run at the biggest moment. When executives pushed back and said no, he didn't argue. He made a move. He picked up the phone. Perkins later broke it down, explaining exactly how it happened. Stephen A. called him directly, told him to relax, and said he'd handle everything. He even told him to expect a call from the bosses the next day. And then it actually happened. ESPN reached out, but they didn't just extend him. They scrapped his contract, even with a year left, and replaced it with a brand new 3-year deal worth around $700K a year. Just like that, Perkins went from $2,500 per appearance to a full-time, high-paid analyst, all off one call. He even said it himself. They tore up the old deal and handed him a new one. That moment became the foundation of everything between him and Stephen A., and Perkins never hid it. He said publicly, over and over, he's got Stephen A.'s back no matter what, because when it mattered most, Stephen A. showed up. But listen, loyalty doesn't mean silence. Once Perkins had a real platform, stable, high-paying, impossible to ignore, he started using it his way. Loud, direct, no filter. And one topic kept coming up: LeBron James. Perkins has always defended LeBron. He shared the floor with him, seen firsthand what he brings to a team, a locker room, an entire franchise. So when debates sparked about LeBron's legacy, rings, or competition, Perkins didn't hold back. He went all in. Big takes, strong opinions, that's classic Perk. But Stephen A., he wasn't just sitting there letting that slide. When those two clash, the energy feels real, like you can't fake it. And when it comes to LeBron debates, Perkins brings something Stephen A. can't. He lived it. He didn't just watch those moments, he was there, inside those locker rooms, in the middle of that pressure. So when he broke down LeBron's Cleveland run as his toughest, he wasn't guessing. He brought up Dan Gilbert, the tension with ownership, and the pressure of returning to a city that felt burned. Then he went deeper, explaining what it actually felt like when things weren't clicking in that locker room. That wasn't TV take, that was real life. That's why he stands out. He's not reading scripts, he's speaking from experience. His main point? Coming back from 3-1 against a 73-win Warriors team to win in Cleveland was the hardest thing LeBron ever did. And when you factor in front office tension, it gets even heavier. But Stephen A. wasn't letting that slide. He pushed back, pointing to the Western Conference, teams like Utah, Phoenix, Clippers, Denver, Dallas, arguing the competition there was deeper and more dangerous. And just like that, it was on. Perkins argued roster strength, Lakers loaded with talent. Stephen A. argued competition depth. The West was stacked differently. Two sharp minds, two real perspectives, no agreement. That's what made it work. That tension, that back and forth going at each other without crossing the line. Most of the time. Because then it did get personal. March 2023, MVP debate, everything shifted. Perkins topped a statement that froze the room. He said around 80% of MVP voters were white. then pointed to guys like Nikola Jokic, Dirk Nowitzki, and Steve Nash and told people to let that sit. The message hit. The tension hit harder. JJ Redick didn't hesitate. He challenged him right there, saying he was implying bias. Now it wasn't just heated, it was uncomfortable. This wasn't normal sports TV anymore. This felt real, messy. Stephen A. later admitted that both sides went too far and had to step in. But ESPN didn't ignore it. The next day, they addressed it on air. They issued a correction and apology, making it clear the claims weren't accurate. That's a big move. That's the network stepping in. And the reaction didn't stop. Charles Barkley called it one of the dumbest things he'd heard, then doubled down with a sarcastic jab that went viral. It was everywhere. But here's the twist. Perkins didn't lose his job. No suspension, no removal. He stayed. Because in that world, controversy doesn't always end careers. It can boost them. The debates, the tension, the confidence, it all built his presence. By 2025, Perkins wasn't questioning his place anymore. He had security, influence, and another multi-year deal. In October 2024, ESPN extended him again, expanding his role across multiple shows. At that point, he wasn't just part of the conversation. He was one of the loudest voices. He was everywhere. You couldn't turn on ESPN without seeing him. He wasn't just another analyst anymore. He was established. And with that security came confidence, the kind that can impress or make executives nervous. His debates with Stephen A. didn't slow down. They got louder. Then March 2025 hit, and things really escalated. After Jokic dropped a wild 31, 21, 22 triple-double, Perkins jumped in ready to build his MVP case. But before he could even finish his sentence, Stephen A. cut him off mid-sentence. Not smooth, not subtle, just shut it down live. Told him they weren't doing that narrative. That wasn't a debate, that was a shutdown. And millions saw it. Clips spread everywhere. The internet ran with it. But Perkins didn't back down. He never does. Because there's a side of him people don't always see. He even admitted he's lost real friendships, guys like Russ, KD, and LeBron, because of what he says on TV. That's real. That's not just online noise. Former teammates going quiet. That hits different. And even when he says he doesn't want to go there, you can tell he's already is. Because once that mic is on, he lives by one rule. Say what you believe or say nothing. That's just how he's built. Then February 2026 happened and everything blew up. During NBA Countdown, they were talking about Boston's championship culture, rolling old 2008 footage. Perkins was right in the middle of it because that's his story. He lived it. And then, out of nowhere, he said something nobody expected live. He looked straight at the camera and said that if ESPN fired him today, he wouldn't lose sleep. And he kept going. Someone in Boston would hire him anyway. That's wild. On the same network paying him, on the platform that built him, he openly said he'd be fine if they let him go. No hesitation, no filter. The clip blew up instantly. It spread across social media, pulling massive views within minutes. By the next morning, media outlets were all over it. YouTube creators jumped on it fast. Some called it bold, others called it reckless. Thumbnails made it look like he quit on the spot, and the comments completely split. Some saw confidence, others saw a risky move. And just like that, a new narrative took over, the one headlines love, the one that drives clicks, the one that spreads fast. Suddenly, stories were everywhere saying Perkins and Stephen A. had real behind-the-scenes issues, even claims that Stephen A. tried to get him fired. But hold up, that's not actually confirmed. There's zero real evidence that Stephen A. ever tried to get Perkins fired. Those viral headlines, that's clickbait. What really happened is that those intense on-air moments created a vibe, and the internet ran with it, turning tension into a bigger story than what's proven. Because here's the truth, he's still there, still on First Take, still on NBA Countdown, still loud, still unapologetic. As of February 2026, nothing changed. No punishment, no suspension. But don't get it twisted, the tension is real. It's just not some simple storyline. In February 2026, during a live segment, Perkins even checked Stephen A. on air, telling him to fix his attitude. And Stephen A., he laughed it off. That moment went viral too, because you don't usually see someone check him like that, not on his show. He runs First Take. So for Perkins to call him out like that, that takes confidence, or serious job security, or both. And honestly, that moment says everything. This isn't random tension. These are two guys who understand each other.
They know how far to push, when to go, and when to stop.
And right in the middle of all that chaos, Stephen A. laughs. Not a fake laugh, real, genuine. Because underneath the shouting, the hot takes, the viral clips, there's respect. That's what makes it work. Without it, those moments would feel uncomfortable, even awkward. But with it, magic. People can't look away. Stephen A. doesn't hide it either. He leans into it. That comfort, that confidence comes from experience, knowing the line, knowing how to dance right on it. And to understand why Perkins moves the way he does, why he speaks boldly, why he pushes harder than most, you have to go back, way back. Kendrick Liddell Perkins was born November 10, 1984, in Nederland, Texas, a tiny town outside Beaumont most people haven't even heard of. From day one, he stood out. Big, physical, driven. He knew his size, his strength, his presence. That was his ticket out. By senior year at Clifton J. Ozen High School, his stats were unreal. 27.5 points, 16.4 rebounds, 7.8 blocks per game. Dominance, not just talent, he was in a league of his own. McDonald's All-American, Texas Mr. Basketball, Parade All-American, the full package. In 2003, Perkins was drafted 27th overall by the Memphis Grizzlies, straight out of high school. No college detour, no extra steps. But before he even settled, he was traded to the Boston Celtics. New city, new system, new expectations. Boston wasn't just any team. The Celtics, one of the most historic franchises in sports. Perkins arrived ready to grind. His first season, 10 games, 3.5 minutes per game. Raw, unpolished, learning. Year by year, he improved. Discipline, focus, presence. By 2005-2006, he was starting 68 games, making his mark in the paint. And then in 2008, the Celtics won the NBA championship. Perkins wasn't the star scorer, not the headline name, but he was the enforcer, the rim protector, the guy no one wanted to challenge. He stood with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Rajon Rondo. Stats didn't tell the full story. You felt his impact. Game after game, season after season, he grew stronger. By 2009-2010, he was averaging 10.1 points, 7.6 rebounds, shooting 60.2% from the field, second best in the NBA. Then came Game 6 of the 2010 Finals. Against the Lakers, Perkins goes up for a rebound, lands wrong. Torn ACL, MCL, and PCL. Out. Game 7, Boston loses, and the what-if still lingers today. He fought back, rehab, recovery, return. Then on February 24, 2011, traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shock. Upset? Of course. But he adapted, signed an extension, pushed forward. By 2012, he was in the finals again, this time with OKC. Physical, vocal, unyielding. He moved around the league, Utah, Cleveland, New Orleans, different jerseys, same mindset. By 2018, he retired. 14 years, 782 games, $57 million in career earnings. Not bad for a kid from a town no one knew. Retirement didn't slow him down. He wanted a voice, a presence, a platform. He started showing up on TV, guest spots, segments, and building reps. People noticed. Not because he was polished, but because he was raw, unfiltered, fearless. ESPN noticed too. Around 2019, he started on a day rate deal. No guarantees, no security, grinding, proving himself all over again. A $57 million NBA vet, starting from scratch. No shortcuts, no entitlement. Day one, all over again. Step by step, the grind paid off. More appearances, bigger moments, airtime on First Take, and that's where Stephen A. took notice. Mentorship quietly began. Respect was earned, one raw, unfiltered take at a time. Full circle. Kendrick Perkins, small-town Texas kid, NBA champ, $57 million career, now carving his mark in sports media. And even with security, contracts, and recognition, he moves like someone who still has something to prove.
December 2024, Perkins said, "My long-term goal is for my next career to be better than my last." Think about that. NBA champ, millions earned, 14 years at the highest level, and he's chasing more. Media, microphone in hand, speaking his mind, even if it costs relationships, even if he gets corrected on live TV. He comes back the next day, head-to-head with the biggest personalities, unapologetically himself. That's not chaos, that's commitment. March 2026, viral clips, rumors, headlines, drama. Perkins is still here. First take, NBA countdown, loud, present, and unapologetic. No signs of stopping. Because as long as Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith sit across from each other with cameras rolling and opinions clashing, the story isn't over.